just a little lover. You got an oral fixation. Yes, you do. You just want to lick everybody you come in contact with. You are a licker, 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 licker. Hello. Thank you for joining me this morning. You didn't know what to do. You ran all around. You said, oh, I don't know if I want to be in there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Now you want to be a part of it. Now you want to, whoa. Don't break your neck. Here you go. Take it. Here. Take it. Yeah. You got it. Bring it back. Come on. Bring it back. There you go. Good boy. You got a bone. There you go. Chew your bone. Hey, what's happening? We just waiting on it to get started. That's how we do this. We come in, we play with the co-host a little bit, and we'll be started soon. We gotta let this percolate because we're live and direct. Hello. Yes. It's a beautiful day to be alive. We made it to another day. That is a blessing. Blessings are lessons and lessons are blessings. Yeah, it works both ways. How are ya? Yes. We're going to get this popping off in a minute. We got to get an algorithm a chance to percolate. And then we're going to get started. I got something good for y'all today. Oh, yeah, I got something good for y'all today. So when we get started, it's going to be started. It's up. When it's up, it's up. I know we've been having some time fluctuation because, that's how life goes. Time fluctuates. But we're going to keep this stream rolling because you can't stop the stream from going down where it's going. It's got to spill off into the waterfall and drop where it needs to go. Yeah, that's how this thing works. It's called nature. If we working with nature, that's what it is. And that's all we're working with, y'all. That's it. That's what we got. All right. I'm going to get started because I don't want to waste your time on a lot of chitty chat. I don't want to play that game. We got our co-host back here. This is Blanco. I am Master Christian. What's up? Before there were schools, books, trainers, therapists, doctors, scientists, or experts, there was nature. And nature was already teaching. Have y'all paid attention? Nature has been teaching the whole time. The question I have for you is, are you paying attention? Because nature been teaching. I think you know, but if you don't know, now you know. Are you paying attention to what's going on around you? It's what it is. We live in a world where human beings constantly try to improve, control, accelerate, redesign things. But long before our technology, nature had already developed systems for communication, survival, cooperation, competition, reproduction, adaptation, recovery, and change. Yeah, that nature had already built these systems. Yeah, they built them without us even. Birds migrate, plants turn towards light, predators conserve energy until the opportunity appears, prey animals remain aware of their surroundings, animals change behavior when environments change. Nature is constantly giving us information. Nature does not automatically mean good. Disease, predation, poison, competition, and death are natural. Oh, natural is not always good. Today's lesson is not that everything natural should be copied. The lesson is before we interfere with the system, we should understand what the system is doing. Yeah, before we mess it up, like we've been doing with the pollution and the trash, we should understand what's already here and what we gotta do to save what's here. Human beings frequently react to the final result without understanding the process that produced it. We see a dog growl and focus on the growl. We see a person explode and focus on the explosion. We see an animal population disappear and notice it only after the numbers become critical. We see a plant dying and respond to the leaves without asking what changed in the soil, water, temperature, light, or environment. Nature teaches us to look deeper. Behavior does not happen in isolation. These are conditions, pressures, patterns, consequences. When we understand those things, we can make better decisions. That's how it is. Today we're going to look at nature differently, not simply as trees, wildlife, mountains, oceans, and beautiful scenery, but as a teacher of behavior. We will identify lessons that apply to animals, people, relationships, training, businesses, and everyday decision making. What has nature taught you about another? What has nature taught you that another person never could? Because nature is constant. What has it taught you? I am Master Christian, and this is Control. This is episode 96. 96 consistent days of coming to you, sharing the love, sharing the information. We are building a place where people can make better decisions by understanding human behavior, animal behavior, and the world we share. If that is valuable to you, go ahead and subscribe. That's what we're doing. We are doing this every single day. So if it's valuable to you, go ahead and subscribe. There you go, buddy. That's for you, buddy. You can hop down and get it. This is nature. This is something that we don't control. Now, we can control some things, but this man's attitude right here, this is out of our control. Hey, what's happening, my ultimate travel guide? Wow, 96? Yeah, 96. We at 96. Come here, boy. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Come on. 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 I can't stimulate him to make that hop yet, so we're going to help him. Our co-host Blanco, that's the host with the most. Understanding how observing natural systems, animal behavior, environment, timing, adaptation, and consequence can help us make better decisions instead of constantly fighting against systems already operating around us. And we fight nature all the time. We get mad at when it's raining. It's too hot outside. It's so much going on. Hey, somebody said, hey, Blanco. Hey, Blanco. Hey, Blanco. Hey, Blanco, you. The lick you down lover. Woo! Nature is always communicating. Nature communicates constantly, but communication does not always use words. Communication is growth. Communication is movement. Communication is not always verbal. Everything don't gotta talk. You haven't heard him make a sound, but you see him watching me. I see him watching me on camera. He's definitely communicating. He wants to know what's going on and be a part of everything. Human beings depend heavily on language, so we sometimes overlook communication without speech. An animal changes posture. A bird changes its call. I hear that. A dog turns its head away. Yeah, that's a bad signal. A cat's tail changes positions. Flicker, flicker, flicker. Y'all don't see these? And insects responds to vibration. Plant responds to light, moisture, temperature, and gravity, and contact. These responses carry information. Behavior itself is communication. All this behavior around us, has anybody noticed the behavior around them? Hey, put it in the comments if you notice it. Because some people are just blind to everything going on. They don't even look up and see the birds and see how amazing it is. Because the birds, they don't have any GPS. But we're more intelligent than them, right? The birds don't have any GPS. And they don't just fly around where their nest is. No, they take off and go miles and miles away. How do they get back? Are they reading the magnetic currents, the magnetic signature of the earth? What's guiding the birds to go to all of these places? When the squirrel goes way up the way, how does it know where its tree is? Yo, it's big out here, y'all. Y'all, if you're missing it, stop, pause, and check it out. Because there's things going on that are so amazing that this is what life is about. You plant a seed, it pops open, and something grows, but it just doesn't grow out of the ground. It grows under the ground. It's just as much going on, if not more, under the ground than on top of the ground. But there's a process because the roots are doing something, but the leaves are doing something, and the flower is doing something. It's so many things going on, you know, but you got to be paying attention to see any of these things that are going on. What you want, what you want, what you want. This is not mess with the master episode. Why you trying to get me? Leave my feet alone. Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. You know, happy dogs. We got to have happy dogs. Come back over here. Get in that chair. We need you up there. You're not going to use your hops. Don't worry about it. Down. You're not going to hop. I'm going to drop you. And you're not going to lick my feet. No. Down. That's what we got to do. We got to take a little time in nature to help Blanco. Someone says, my dog suddenly growled. Did it happen suddenly, or did someone move closer? Was the dog cornered? Was food involved? Was it sleeping? Was another animal staring? Did the body become stiff first? Did the dog turn away and try to leave? The growl may have been the first signal the person noticed, not the first signal the dog gave. And they're giving us signals. If you late, you late. Then you try to describe what's happened, give a definition of what's going on, and you haven't collected all the information, and you quick to judge. Come back. You can't be quick to judge when it deals with nature, because it's certain things that have happened. No down. No down. Things that have happened already that you missed. So like I said, we got to take a pause so we can see what's going on. Animals gather information through smell, movement, sound, vibration, posture, distance, and environmental change. They may respond before we even realize something has changed. Understanding animal behavior begins with observation. And our observation is not just sight. It's not just our optic nerve. Our observation is, what does it smell like? What does it sound like? Let's take a pause and use our senses to figure out what's going on. You know, we can't, in this world, this fast-paced world, we're moving and grooving so fast that everything, we think we know everything. And really, we know nothing until we take some time to be able to understand what's going on around us. Nature usually whispers before it screams. And I'm going to give you an example of a whisper before it screams. So we know about tsunamis. Everybody's heard about a tsunami. If you haven't heard about a tsunami, you're going to hear about it now. It's when the water recedes and goes away from the land and disappears. And then you can see the bottom of the ocean. You can see the fish. you can see everything is on the ground. The water disappeared. If you see the water disappearing, go the other way as quickly as possible, because the water going away is the whisper. It's coming back with maximum force. You need to leave when the water disappears, because the water did not disappear to stay gone. When that water comes back, it's so powerful. It'll destroy whole cities. It'll destroy everything in its path. You got to pay attention, because nature usually whispers before it screams. Have you ever realized afterward that an animal or a person have been giving you warning signs that you missed? Hey, you got to pay attention. You got to look, listen, smell, feel. It's a vibration out here. It's a frequency. And when somebody got bad energy, if you don't pick up that bad energy, then you set yourself up for failure. And we don't have time to fail. We got time to succeed. We got time to make sure we succeed. Behavior doesn't begin when it becomes inconvenient for you. By the time you notice the problem, nature may have been communicating for a long time. Yeah, that storm. You see the clouds, you feel the wind, you hear the whistle, you smell the rain. Oh, it might not rain. I'm smelling it. I'm feeling it. I feel the pressure all around me. Yeah, that might pass us by. It's not passing. It's already here. It just hasn't got wet yet. You feel it around you. But, you be trying to wish it away, I guess. Environment changes behavior. Before you judge behavior, study the environment producing it. Behavior does not exist separately from everything around it. Increase noise, reduce space, add strangers, change temperature, introduce another animal, remove an escape route, change access to food, increase competition or pressure. The individual may be the same, but the conditions are different, and the different conditions can produce different behavior. A dog behaves beautifully at home. Take that same dog to a crowded public event with children, dogs, food smells, loudspeakers, vehicles, strange surfaces, and constant movement. If behavior changes, the training did not necessarily disappear. The environment challenged change. Wild animals constantly evaluate food, water, shelter, danger, competition, escape, and safe resting places. Behavior that looks strange without context can make sense once you understand the pressure producing it. You just can't be on the sideline looking at the animals and the things that are going on and say, I know what's going on. You got to take a lot of things into consideration before you make these assumptions. Assumptions are not knowing. And when you don't know, you don't know. It is what it is. People are influenced by environment too. Remove sleep, add financial pressure, increase noise, remove privacy, create uncertainty, or surround someone with conflict, and behavior can change. Instead of only asking what's wrong with that person, also ask what is happening around that person. Before you judge the behavior, study the environment, because something in that environment probably changed. Somebody you don't like comes around, your behavior changes. Somebody that has a problem comes around, your behavior changes. You may like them, but whatever problem they're carrying has stimulated you. You know, these stimuli are all around us, but we take things for granted a lot. Have you ever walked out of a stressful environment and immediately felt like a different person? Yeah, I used to work at Chrysler. And as soon as I would hit that turnstile and be outside that gate from the building, the pressure was gone. And it wasn't no real pressure that I could tell you about, just being in that building and the machines working, the fumes, everything that was going on was constant pressure. It was beating us down. People were smoking in the plant because they were allowed to smoke cigarettes at every operation. There were no non-smoking zones back then. You know, and people were drunk and on drugs and all. It was so much pressure. The managers, the bosses had egos. They were racist at times. They had a lot going on. They come to work mad at their families and everything. Yo, that pressure, it changed as soon as I walked out the door. Because I knew I was free when I walked out the door, at least for some hours until we redid this again. You got to understand, things change. Come here, Blanco. Don't be back there messing with stuff. Sometimes you don't need to fight the behavior harder. You need to change the conditions producing the behavior. You get that? Sometimes you don't need to fight the behavior harder. You need to change the conditions producing the behavior. Because when you change the conditions, the behavior is going to change. That's how things work out in this world. They work kind of strange, but not really. Subscribe, like, follow, share, support, $Master CT. We're at episode 96. 96 days of control, more than 96 days of Blanco. But yo, like he's sharing the love right here. Share the love. Subscribe to the channel. Support. Help somebody that's less fortunate. This show is presented to you by Master Christian LLC. If you want to be a sponsor, get in the comments. Send me a message, masterchristian.com. We need sponsors to go to the far off places to do the interviews that you're going to love with animal people, with nature people, with just people or anything. I'm already setting it up so we can head to the aquarium soon, the Georgia Aquarium, and we're going to the zoo. Whichever one they let me in first, that's where we're going to be. We got a lot of interviews coming up. And yo, let's have fun with this. Let's learn something. Let's be the best people we are. But it's time to do the news. What's the news today, y'all? Animals Today news. What are the animals doing today? Controlled episode 96. Animal Today news. First dog rabies case in more than a decade. San Antonio area officials have confirmed the first rabies case in a pet dog in more than a decade. The unvaccinated husky mix had reportedly killed a baby skunk in late July. Weeks later, the dog developed neurological and behavioral symptoms. Bitten owner was euthanized and tested positive for rabies. Cujo, y'all might not know about Cujo. The owner received preventative treatment. Officials say rabies activity in Bexar County has increased sharply this summer, reinforcing the risk created when domestic animals encounter infected wildlife. A single encounter between a pet and wildlife can become a serious animal and human health event. Nature does not stop at the edge of our backyard. Period. Point blank, period. When you see your dog chasing a squirrel or, killing a groundhog or a skunk or something, hey, a raccoon, a possum, if people send their dogs to kill them and they enjoy that and they say they got something, they might have got something more than just an animal. They may have gotten rabies. You never can tell until you can tell. So watch out. 69 live reptiles hidden at the U.S.-Mexico border. Federal prosecutors say 2 people were involved in a years-long scheme to traffic protected reptiles across the U.S.-Mexico border. Authorities reported finding 69 live animals hidden inside pillowcases and a concealed vehicle compartment. The animals included protected and exotic reptiles, and the federal case alleges repeated cross-border wildlife trafficking. The story highlights what happens when animals become commodities. Removing animals from natural populations can harm individual animals, ecosystems, and conservation efforts while creating disease and animal welfare risk. And they taking the animals and bringing them over to the U.S. and they got caught. Nature produces wildlife. The illegal market turns wildlife into inventory. Those are two very different ways of valuing an animal. Nature already has the value on the animal, but when you smuggling animals, you put a monetary value on them. And I'm not going to say too much about that, but I'm glad that they found them, and hopefully they can return them to the wild. But who knows what's going to happen with those animals. Australian veterinarians face a growing H5 bird flu crisis. Australia's H5 bird flu emergency is putting increasing pressure on wildlife, veterinarians, and rehabilitation systems. Veterinarians have warned that as infected and exposed wild birds increase, treatment capability can become overwhelmed and difficult. Euthanasia decisions may become unavoidable. So they're going to euthanize everybody because the bird flu. The outbreak demonstrates how rapidly a disease can move through natural systems, particularly through mobile wild bird populations. Australian authorities are conducting surveillance, testing biosecurity work, and species protection efforts as H5N1 continues to spread. Nature is interconnected. The same movement that allows birds to migrate across enormous distances can also allow disease to move with them. That's how nature works. The bird fly a long distance, disease went with them, and the disease is going to infect other birds where they went. Nature is bigger than us. Wildfires threaten orangutans already rescued from trafficking. The orangutan got rescued. Now, where they're holding them, the facilities, they got wildfires. Wildfires in Indonesia have threatened a rehabilitation center in West Kalimantan, caring for orangutans rescued from wildlife trafficking. Hot, dry, windy conditions push fire dangerously close to the facility, creating another threat for animals that had already survived human exploitation. Orangutan rehabilitation is designed to prepare animals, where possible, for greater independence and eventual return to suitable habitat. But rehabilitation cannot be separated from the condition of the environment those animals depend on. Saving an animal is only one part of conservation. There is no healthy habitat if there's no healthy habitat to return to, the rescue is incomplete. The habitat burned down while we trying to help the orangutans. Then where do they go? Where are we going to put them now? Now they got to go to a zoo. It's all messed up. But if they were in the habitat while it was burning down, they get burned up too. Golden Gate observers reveal a harbor porpoise behavior mystery. Researchers studying harbor porpoises around San Francisco's Golden Gate documented a remarkable pattern in mating behavior. Over 8 years, researchers recorded 144 mating events and mating events and found males consistently approach females from the left side. So out of 144 mating events, they found out males approached females from the left side. An unusually strong form of behavioral lateralization. The left side must be the best side. You know, they say the west side, you know, the left side. You know, that's where they're approaching. So that must mean that's the mating side. Yo. And the observations became possible after harbor porpoises returned to San Francisco Bay in 2008, following decades of absence. They was gone. Researchers were able to study free-range animals from the Golden Gate Bridge without needing to capture or manipulate them. Great. They hands-off studying. We don't need to be messing with everything all the time. Sometimes understanding nature does not require Sometimes understanding nature does not require interfering with it. It requires patience, a good observation point, and enough time to recognize patterns. Today's 5 stories all show a different side of nature. Disease moving between wildlife and pets, animals removed from wildlife through trafficking, disease moving through migratory population, habitat threatening rescued wildlife, and scientists discovering behavior simply by watching. Nature is not just scenery, nature is a living system, and every animal is operating inside of it, including us. That's nature right there. That's Animal Today's news right there. Subscribe, follow, like, share, support, $Master CT. That's what we got today. Lots of things going on in the world. I just get a few of them to bring to you on the news. But let's get back to what we were discussing from the beginning. And that's nature, nature, nature. Because it's all around us. Just because we get in these boxes, we live in these houses, we think nature, the bugs that get in our house are part of nature. The fly that fly through, that's part of nature. We can't get away from this. We got to eat. Everything that we eat, nature. The air we breathe, everything going on, nature. This sound we make, all of that. It's all part, it's all connected. Nature represents the process. Nature reminds us that progress can be real before progress becomes visible. Human beings want faster growth, training, success, recovery, and answer. Nature frequently works on a different timeline. Plant a seed today and come back tomorrow. You do not see a tree. That does not mean nothing is happening. Important development may be happening underneath the surface. Roots establish themselves before the plant can support what we eventually see above the ground. Yeah, under the ground, it's a matrix of things going on. We don't see it. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because we don't see with these little eyes, something amazing is happening under the ground. Someone begins training a dog. Day 1 goes well. Day 2 is harder. Day 3 looks worse. The person says, this isn't working. Maybe, learning is still developing. Training requires repetition, consistency, experience, recovery, adjustment, and time. One successful repetition does not create mastery, and one difficult day does not erase progress. Training takes time. Observation. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know when to pause and when to go. You need to know when to let the animal go to sleep. Take a break and relax on what they just learned. If you don't, you're going to keep going hard and the animal is not going to understand what's going on. When they do it right, stop right there so they can absorb the love and the things that they did right. If you don't stop, then what they did right, it can't, they don't know what they did right. Young animals learn through development interaction, observation, experience, mistakes, and consequences. Growth is a process. You can work for weeks or months without the outside world seeing the result. Some of the strongest foundations are built where nobody can see them. Yo, nobody's seen me handling these dogs for years and years and years, handling the snake, growing the sharks, porcupine puffers, all of the different things I did, getting stung, getting bit, nobody's seen it. Every once in a while somebody's seen it. But progress happens all the time, every day. Every day something is growing around you. Don't confuse invisible progress with no progress. What are you working on right now that may need more time instead of more frustration? Don't be frustrated. Just keep on working. Keep moving forward. Success is on the way. It's coming. You just got to have some completion. Just keep going. Because if you stopped, you stopped. And stopping means no more progress. You wouldn't plant a seed today and dig it up tomorrow because it isn't a tree yet. Stop destroying your progress because it hasn't become visible fast enough. Just pause. Take some time, learn, and pay attention. Nature adapts. Adaptation is not failure. Adaptation is a response to reality. Temperature, food, water, competition, threats, and habitat change. Nature responds. An organism that refuses to respond to changing conditions does not receive an award for consistency. The consequences simply arrive. Humans can become emotionally attached to the original plan. The real question is, does it still work under the conditions that exist now? In the original plan, we can't get stuck. We got to adapt because nature adapts. When water hits a wall, it starts looking for another way to get around it. It just don't sit there at the wall. Water is looking for any hole, and it'll make that hole bigger, and it'll bust through it. That's what water does. We got to be like water because we are almost 80% water, so we need to learn the same tendencies that the water has because we are water. Maybe you trained animals one way for years, then encountered a different animal that was a different temperament, history, motivation, environment, and challenges. A skilled trainer observes the animal in front of them and adjusts appropriately. Animals alter movement patterns, feeding behavior, resting locations, social interactions, and activity according to changing environment pressures. Adaptation is part of survival for everything, not just for animals, for everything. Everything must adapt. Changing strategy does not necessarily mean abandoning your goal. You can remain committed to the destination while changing the route. Yeah, you don't got to take the same streets to get where you're going. You could take a different way. You still going to get there. Change your route. You know, business, relationships, technology, opportunities, and circumstances change. Respond to what is actually happening, not what you expect to happen. Respond to what's actually happening. Blanco's roaming around. I didn't expect him to stay in the chair, but I can place him back whenever I want to and hit him with a stay. Sit. Good. Boy, stay. We'll see how long that lasts. Yeah, we'll see. Nature doesn't apologize for adapting, and neither should you. If you got to take a different route to get there, change your route. Because if the route that you're using is not working, you still got to make it where you're trying to go. If you're trying to become a billionaire and the way you're doing it is not making it a millionaire, billionaire, a thousandaire, whatever you're trying to become, change your route. Know where you're going with it, but you don't got to keep pressing on the same way. You got to adapt and do something different. That's what it's all about. I change how this script is formatted and how the things that we doing all the time because I want to get the message to you that works. Period. I just want to get the message to you that works. So I'm in the analytics. I'm trying to figure out how to best get this information to you so you can absorb it and be able to use it successfully. Are you continuing to do something because it works or because that is simply how you have always done it? If that's how you've done it and it's not working, you got to do it a different way. Walk backwards. Change up. Changing the method doesn't mean abandoning the goal. Sometimes adaptation is exactly what keeps your goal alive. Yeah, when you change, that makes the goal attainable. Sometimes. Control doesn't mean domination. The greatest control often comes from understanding the system, not overpowering it. When some people hear control, they think force or domination. Effective control often looks like observation, preparation, understanding, anticipation, management, time, and respect for limitations. A skilled animal handler learns the animal, reads behavior, recognizes thresholds, manages distance, controls the environment where possible, uses appropriate equipment, and understands what cannot be controlled. And you got to understand that. Like Blanco's tongue. Blanco wants to lick everything around. I can't control that tongue. I got to work with it because trying to control that tongue, it's a job, it's a fight that I'm not in. But I do stop it for a little bit because he likes to pick up leaves outside like they're potato chips. I got to deter that because who knows what's on that leaf. Some of them I can't stop, but some of them I can. And I do what I can. You do what you can. You cannot command rain to stop. Stop, rain. Negotiate with gravity. I'm flying. Or order daylight to last 3 extra hours. Let there be light. You can't do that. So we learn the rules and make decisions within them. We check the weather, build structures, create drainage, use artificial light, and prepare. Because we can't control the elements. We can't control nature. That is control through understanding. The most accurately you recognize behavior before escalation, the more options you have. You don't need to wait for a bite to recognize discomfort, a dog to balk before recognize over-arousal, an animal to shut down before recognizing fear. Knowledge gives you early intervention. Respecting nature does not mean never intervening. We provide veterinary care, vaccinate, protect habitats, and manage dangerous interactions. Rescue injured wildlife. Rescue injured wildlife. We gotta get back. Where we at? Provide shelter, treat disease, and protect threatened species. Intervention itself is not the problem. Blind intervention is. Understanding gives you more control than domination ever will. How many things are we trying to overpower that we would handle better if we first understood them? We got to have understanding, y'all. We just can't overpower everything. You don't control nature by dealing with it. You gain control over your decisions by understanding the rules nature was already operating by. If today's episode changed the way you think about nature, behavior, or control, subscribe to Control. Every day, we're taking something people see every day and looking underneath it at behavior, the decisions, and the consequences affecting people, animals, and the world we share. Behavior is information. Do not wait until behavior becomes extreme before paying attention. Observe what happens, before the obvious behavior. Environment matters. Before deciding that an environment is the problem, examine the conditions surrounding the individual. Understanding creates better control. Observation, preparation, adaptation, and knowledge often accomplish more than trying to overpower the situation. What is the greatest lesson nature has ever taught you? Do you think modern life has made people less observant of nature? What animal do you think humans could learn from the most? Nature communicates before many consequences become obvious. Learning to observe earlier gives us more opportunities to respond intelligently. Behavior and the environment are connected. Sometimes the behavior we are trying to change makes more sense once we understand the surrounding conditions. Control begins with understanding. The more accurately you understand a system, the better decisions you can make inside that system. Spend 10 minutes outside without your phone. Do not listen to music. Do not scroll. Do not try to accomplish anything. Observe one animal, insect, plant, weather pattern, or natural process. Ask, what is happening? What might be happening? What changed? What pattern can I see? What is nature teaching me? You're going to see some things. You're going to learn some things. Before there were classrooms, nature was teaching. Before there were manuals, nature was demonstrating. Before we ever started trying to control the world around us, the world was already operating by rules. Not our rules, the rules. Observe before you interfere. Understand before you judge. Adapt when conditions change. Respect the process, because nature was here before us, and nature will continue teaching us whether we are paying attention or not. Nature gonna be here after us as well. I am Master Christian. This is Controlled, episode 96. Yo, big up, buck. This is our co-host, Blanco the Man. He's been a joy to have today. Love yourself, love others. Raise your percentage of success. Remember, stay calm, stay confident, and stay consistent. That's our 3 C's. Subscribe, follow, like, share, support $Master CT, and we'll see you tomorrow for episode 97. Have a great day. I am Master Christian. We out of here, y'all.